Hello students, how are you? Good afternoon to everyone. I am Rajveer Singh, your biology teacher. Today I brings the topic part 5th of the neural coordination. And as I think you did enjoy my previous session, and that session was fantastic and fruitful for you. In same manner, same direction. Today I will give my best by understanding the best concept, this fantastic, awesome question. Okay, so now let's start. The first question at front of you. During the propagation of a nerve impulse, the action potential result from the movement of what? Sodium ion from extracellular fluid to intracellular fluid, potassium ion from extracellular fluid to intracellular fluid, sodium ion from intracellular fluid to extracellular, potassium ion from intracellular fluid to extracellular. Definitely, answer will 1. First answer is the right option. Okay, why? Because as you are seeing in the diagram part, first of all we see diagram. So in diagram we are seeing first of the axon, right? And in the action potential, okay, in a square part. Then after we will see in part first, sodium ion insert in axon segment, okay, and potassium ion will exist in part second. Okay, now when we see the third part, so third part in we can see potassium ion exits and sodium ion enter. Okay, now this diagram will help to you understand this concept. So action potential is the change in the electrical potential that occur in a plasma membrane during the passage of the nerve impulse. Is it right? Then, as an impulse travels in a wave-like manner along the axon of a nerve, it causes a localized and transient switch in electrical potential across the membrane. So, from this value will be from minus 60 millivolt to plus 45 millivolt is due to the fact that the sodium channel open and the potassium channel remain closed. As a result, sodium channel permit the influx of sodium ion by diffusion from the extracellular fluid to intracellular fluid. So that is why we have choose the first option. Okay, I hope you will understand why we choose first option. Now, see next question. This question asking about which one of the following pair of structure distinguish a nerve cell from other type of cell. First, nucleus and mitochondria, perikaryon, dendrites, vacuole, fiber, flagellum and medullary sheath. Okay, so answer will be second, perikaryon and dendrites is the right answer. Why do you choose second option? So now let me describe the soma. We can say the perikaryon also, okay, and cyton is also synonym of the perikaryon, and soma is the bulbous end of neurons containing the cell nucleus. Dendrites are the branched projection of a neuron that act to propagate the electrochemical stimulation received from other neural cells to the cell body, or a soma of the neuron from which the dendrites project. Other cells have a nucleus, mitochondria, flagellum, medullary sheath, vacuoles, and fiber, but not perikaryon or dendrites. So we have choose the option second, perikaryon and dendrites, right? Now, next question. This is again very important. So now, during the transmission of nerve impulse through a nerve fiber, the potential on the inner side of the plasma membrane has which type of the electrical charge? What will? First positive, then negative, and again back to positive. First negative, then positive, and again negative. Yes, this is right, because we have talked about this type questions many times. And as I told you, generally our nerve is found in the negative outer side, and then inner side positive, and then after positive, after nerve impulse transmissions, and then when this nerve impulse is proceed at further next step, then previous part and back end part will become again negative. So our answer will be second. Okay, now you can see also in the diagram part, which will help to understand this description. So first, nerve impulse in A part, B part, C and D. There are 4 parts they are presenting. So at rest, maintained by potassium leakage, as I told you, and you know also, because we know we read in the theoretical part already, right? So a cell body, potassium are outside, exist, axon inside, minus 70 millivolt. 70 millivolt is general potential. So at a rest, maintained by potassium leakage. Okay. Then in part second B, when sodium are insert, sodium channel open. Okay. Then this potential will become plus 50 millivolt from minus 70 millivolt. Okay. So at the leading edge of the impulse, the sodium get open and the membrane become more permeable to the sodium ion and action potential occur. Then after when we now we come at next third step C. So as the action potential passes, potassium gets open, allowing potassium ion to flow out. So answer okay. Then after in next fourth step, the action potential continues to move along the axon in the direction of the nerve impulse. Okay. So now I hope you will understand why first of all this become a negative, then positive and negative again. Okay. So now let me explain in a theoretical part in language. So during the transmission of nerve impulse through a nerve fibers, the potential on the inner side of the plasma membrane has the first negative charges due to a high concentration of positive potassium ions inside the high concentration of the sodium outside. This state is known as the resting phase and the potential is known as a resting potential. The nerve cells are stimulated by nerve signals and the voltage gated sodium channel reverse the membrane polarity which make the inner side of the membrane positive while outer turn negative. The potential generated at this phase is known as the action potential. As the action potential reach its maximum value, it again cause it's a reversible of the membrane potential, which by closing the sodium channel and opening the potassium channel, this state of the neuron is known as the repolarization. So our answer will be second. This is very fantastic and good question. So please pay the attention at this question because this will help to understand nerve impulse conduction. Now, next question at front of you. Which one of the following is an example of the negative feedback loop in human? First, secretion of the sweat gland, constriction of skin blood vessels when it is too hot. Second, constriction of skin blood vessels and contraction of the skeletal muscles when it too cold. Secretion of tears after falling of a sand particle into the eye. Salivation of the mouth at sight of the delicious food. Among of them, our answer is the second, because constriction of the skin blood vessels and contraction of the skeletal muscles when it too cold. So answer will be second. Now, negative feedback is a reaction that causes a decrease in a function. It occurs in response to some kind of the stimulus. Often it causes the output of a system to be lessened. So the feedback tends to stabilize the system. This can be referred to as homeostasis, for example, constriction for skin blood vessels and contraction of skeletal muscles in a cold. So answer will be second. Next question. Pome's glands are located in the olfactory epithelium of our nose, proximal end of a uniferous tubule, anterior pituitary, female reproductive system of a cockroach. Answer will first. Olfactory epithelium of our nose. So this one is our right answer. Because Bowman glands, olfactory glands are situated in the olfactory mucosa beneath the olfactory epithelium in the lamina propria. The structure of the Bowman glands consists of an acinus in the lamina propria and a secretory duct going out through the olfactory epithelium. So our answer will be first. Now, next question. Which one of the following statement is correct? Neurons regulate endocrine activity but not vice versa. Endocrine glands regulate neural activity and nervous system regulate endocrine glands. Neither hormones control the neural activity nor the neurons control endocrine activity. Endocrine glands regulate neural activity but not vice versa. Answer will be first. Neurons regulate endocrine activity but not vice versa is the right answer. So, if I talk about, so the autonomous nervous system regulate the secretion of the glands as we see in theoretical part, whereas the glands do not regulate the nervous system. So that is why this statement is the option first is the right answer about this question, right? So now next question, which of the following not act as a neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine, yes, is work. Epinephrine, obviously, it's also work. Norepinephrine, yes, but cortisone, yes, cortisone is not a neurotransmitter. So that is why we can say our answer will fourth. If I talk about cortisone, so cortisone is the one of the main hormone released by the adrenal gland in the response to stress. Cortisone suppresses the immune system, thus reducing inflammation and attendant pain and swelling at the site of the injury. Neurotransmitters are endogenous chemicals that transmit signal across the synapse from one neuron nerve cell to another neuron. Now, neurotransmitters are released from synaptic vesicles in synapse into the synaptic cleft, where they are received by receptor on other synapses. Whereas norepinephrine, acetylcholine, and epinephrine, yes, these all are the neurotransmitters. So we have choose cortisone is our right answer. Next question is the Bowman glands are found in the Bowman glands are found in which part? Olfactory epithelium, external auditory, cortical nephrons, medullary nephron. Yes. Then our answer will be first, olfactory epithelium. Why we have choose olfactory epithelium? Because here we can see answer about this question. So Bowman glands is type of the tubular mucosal gland that occur in the olfactory epithelium. Their ducts open on the olfactory epithelium surface. These glands secrete watery mucus to protect and keep the epithelium moist. Answer will be first. Okay. Now, then after next question is about in a man, abducens nerve is injured. Which of the following function will be affected? Movements of the eyeball, swelling, movements of the tongue and movements of the neck. Answer will first, movement of the eyeball. Why? Because abducens nerve is a motor nerve and that controls the movements of the eyeball. You should know about the function of the abducens nerve. And thus, if abducens nerve is injured, then definitely movements of the eyeball will be affected and answer will be first. Next question about one of the example of the action. So one of the example of the action of the autonomous nervous system is what? Knee-jerk response, pupillary reflex, swelling of foods, peristalsis of the intestine. Answer will be second, pupillary reflex. Why? Because a peristalsis of the intestine is the example of the action of the autonomous nervous system, and the organ of our body, viscera, the heart, intestine, and the stomach are regulated by a branch of the nervous system known as the autonomic nervous system. It consists of autonomic neurons that conduct impulse from the central nervous system, brain, or a spinal cord to a gland. Is it fine? Smooth muscles and cardiac muscles, ANS, neurons are responsible for regulating and the secretion of a certain glands. Is it fine? It means salivary glands and the regulation of the heart rate and peristalsis, contraction of smooth muscles in the digestive tract among other functions. So answer will be second. Next question about Parkinson's disease, characterized by tremors, progressive rigidity of a limbs, is caused by degeneration of a brain neuron that are involved in movements, control and make use of the neurotransmitter. What answer? What will answer? Acetylcholine, norepinephrine, dopamine, and GABA. The answer will be third. Dopamine is the right answer. Why? Because Parkinson's disease, just as I say in a question part, characterized by tremors and progressive rigidity of limbs. Change in speech and gait is caused by especially degeneration of the brain neurons that are involved in movements, control, and make use of a neurotransmitter dopamine. So that is why we have choose the second option is the dopamine. Right? Now, next question is about poisons like cyanide. Poison like cyanide inhibit sodium efflux and potassium influx during the cellular transport. This inhibitory effect is reversed by an injection of ATP. This demonstrates that what? ATP is carrier of protein in the transport system? Absolutely wrong. Energy of sodium potassium exchange pump comes from ATP. Yes, we can say this is absolutely right. ATP is hydrolyzed by ATPase to release energy. Absolutely wrong, because this is a dephosphorylation, not a hydrolyzed. Sodium potassium exchange pump operate in the cell. It's also again absolutely wrong. Answer will be second. Now, here if I describe, so now here I would like to say about cyanide is known to be toxic chemical compound as it binds to the fourth complex called as the cytochrome C oxidase of the electron transport chain and inhibit its usual action. Cyanide binds to the iron present in the protein complex and inhibit the transport of electron to oxygen. As a result, the ATP production also halt and the passage of electrons are blocked all through the electrons transport chain. Cyanide helps the sodium efflux and potassium influx during cellular transport, since the protons are not allowed to return back into the mitochondrial matrix. But this inhibitory effect is reversed when ATP is injected, which provide consequence energy to the sodium and potassium exchange pump. Is it right? This demonstrates that sodium and potassium exchange pump gets energy from ATP. That is why we have choose the second option about in form of this answer of this question. Next question about in the resting state of the neural membrane, diffusions due to concentration gradient, if allowed, would drive potassium into the cell, sodium and potassium out of the cell, sodium plus sodium into the cell, sodium out of the cell. Answer is sodium into the cell. Why? So because in the resting state, as I talk and we see in explanation of the first question of the today, now says the cytoplasm inside the axon has high concentration of potassium plus and a low concentration of the sodium plus ion, while the surrounding fluids outside the axon and the cytoplasm has the low concentration of potassium plus 1 and a high concentration of sodium plus 1. Thus, if diffusions occurs, then through concentration gradient, the sodium plus ion enter into the nerve cell. Answer will be third. Next question. This is again very important and very good question. So now, Alzheimer's disease in human is associated with the deficiency of what? GABA. It means gamma aminobutyric acid. Gamma aminobutyric acid, dopamine, glutamic acids, acetylcholine. Answer will acetylcholine. Why? So because in studies related to Alzheimer's disease, acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter essential for processing memory and learning, has been founded decreased in the both concentration and function in a patient with Alzheimer's disease. So answer will be fourth. Next one is the which cranial nerve has the highest number of branches? Vagus, trigeminal, facial, none of them. Answer will be vagus. Why? Because the vagus nerve has the highest number of the branches. It is the longest cranial nerve. It contains motor and sensory fibers, and because it passes through the neck and the thorax of the abdomen, has the widest distribution in the body. It contains somatic and visceral afferent fibers as well as general and special visceral afferent fibers. It is called also 10th cranial nerve. It means 10th cranial nerve will be answer. Vagus nerve is the right answer. Next on the question, injury of the vagus nerve. Injury to the vagus nerve in human is not likely to affect tongue movements, gastrointestinal, pancreatic secretion, cardiac. So as I told you, vagus nerve generally have high branching, but you should know about generally vagus nerve not reach at the tongue part, because here our glossal nerve is regular to tongue. So answer will be first. So vagus nerve is a mixed cranial nerve which is controlling much of the gut ventilatory system and heart. It does not affect tongue movements. Tongue movements is controlled by the glossopharyngeal nerve, as I told you already, right? So answer will be first. Next is the sympathetic nerve in mammals arises from sacral nerve, 3rd, 7th, 9th and 10th cranial nerve, thoracic lumbar segment of the spinal cord, cervical nerve. Answer will be 3rd, thoracic lumbar segments of the spinal cord. Because sympathetic nerve in the mammals arises from the thoracic lumbar region. It is represented by the chain of the 21 sympathetic ganglia either side of the spinal cord. It receives preganglionic sympathetic fibers from the spinal cord, which make this exist along with thoracic and lumbar region. It is a part of the nervous system that serve to accelerate the heartbeat, constrict blood vessels and raise blood pressure. Answer will be 3rd. Okay, I hope you will understand. Next question. Sympathetic nervous system induce secretion of digestion juice, increase in heartbeat rate, secretion of saliva. All of this answer will be second. Increase in a heartbeat rate. So let me describe why we have choose second option. So the sympathetic nervous system is one of the main division of the autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system primary process is to stimulate the body's fight or flight response. And do you remember we have just solved the question fight or flights in yesterday session. So the sympathetic nervous system increase heart rate, respirations, perspirations to prepare our body for flight and fight. Okay, the sympathetic nervous system provides quick response to immediate need. So answer will be second. Okay, answer will be second. Now next question. Postganglionic fiber of sympathetic nervous system is connected with sweat glands, secrete adrenaline, epinephrine, acetylcholine, GABA. Answer will 3rd, acetylcholine. Because the fiber connecting the neural ganglions to the effectors organ are known as postganglionic fiber. These nerve fibers are cholinergic is the parasympathetic system and adrenergic in the sympathetic system. The nerve fibers for which the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine is said to be cholinergic. The nerve fibers for which neurotransmitter are adrenaline and noradrenaline are said to be adrenogenic. I hope you will understand why we choose acetylcholine. Next one. So next one question. Next one question is just which of the following is the not the action of the sympathetic nervous system? Dilation of pupil, storage of bile in the gallbladder, constriction of peripheral arteries, contraction in the wall of the urinary bladder. Answer will be second. Storage of bile in the gallbladder. Because the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, is one of the two main divisions of the autonomic nervous system, direct the body rapid involuntary response to a dangerous or stressful situation. For example, the sympathetic nervous system can accelerate heart rate, widen bronchial passage, decrease motility movements of the large intestine, constrict blood vessels, increase peristalsis in the esophagus, cause pupillary dilation, piloerection, goosebumps, and perspirations, sweating, raise blood pressure, storage of the bile is the gallbladder in the functioning by the parasympathetic nervous. So answer will be second. Next question, again very important. Which of the following is not the action of sympathetic nervous system? It means among of them, three will be action and one will not. So slow down peristalsis, erection of hair, contraction in gallbladder, constrict arteries, and raise blood pressure. Answer will be third. Contractions in gallbladder. Why? Because the sympathetic nervous system, it means SNS, is one of the two main division of autonomic nervous system, direct the body rapid involuntary response to dangerous or stressful situation. For example, the sympathetic nervous system can accelerate heart rate, widen bronchial passage, decrease motility, movements of the large intestines, constrict blood vessels, increase peristalsis in the esophagus, cause pupillary dilation, piloerections, goosebumps, and perspiration, sweating, and raise blood pressure. Storage of bile in the gallbladder is functioning by the parasympathetic nerve. So answer will be third. Next one, rate of the conduction of an impulse will be faster in case of myelinated nerve fibers, thicker nerve fibers, non-myelinated, and both one and second. Answer will fourth. Why we choose fourth? Because the rate of the impulse conduction in a nerve depends on the diameter of a fibers and the presence or absence of myelin. Neurons with myelin conduct impulse much faster than those without myelin. Schwann cell or oligodendrocytes are located at regular intervals along the axon. Between areas of myelins are non-myelinated area present called as the nodes of Rajveer. Because fat myelin act as an insulator membrane coated with myelin does not conduct an impulse. So, in a myelinated neurons, action potential only occurs along the nodes, and therefore impulse jump over the area of the myelin going from node to node in a process called as a solitary conduction. Answer will be fourth. Next one question. If the ligaments directly below of the kneecap is struck lightly by the edge of the hand or by a Dr. Rubber Hammer's knee-jerk reflex, which stretch reflex is what? Polysynaptic, withdrawal, monosynaptic, and bisynaptic. Answer will be third, monosynaptic. Because the knee-jerk reflex, also called patellar reflex, sudden kicking movements of the lower leg in a response to the sharp tap on the patellar tendon, which lies just below the kneecap, One of the several positions that subject may take for the test is to sit with knees bent and with one leg crossed over the other so that the upper foot hangs clear of the floor. The sharp tip of the tendon slightly stretched and the quadriceps, the complex of muscles at the front of the upper legs. In reaction, these muscles contract and the contraction tends to straighten the leg in a kicking motion. X aggregation or absence of the reaction suggests that they may be damage to the central nervous system. The knee jerk can also be helpful in recognizing thyroid disease. Answer will be third, monosynaptic. Next question is, which of the following is not a part of the jerk reflex? Afferent pathway, muscle spindle, afferent brain. Definitely, answer will brain. Why we have choose brain answer? Because knee jerk reactions is controlled by at the level of the spinal cord, and the reflex action involve the spinal cord, muscle spindle, motor neurons, interneuron. So answer will be fourth. Fascial corpuscles, which occur in the skin, are free sensory nerve endings, specialized cells at the end of the sensory nerve fibers, a type of a gland, and capsulated pressure receptor deep in the dermis. Answer will be fourth. Because because fascial corpuscles are the sensory receptor that found in the deep layer of a skin. It is a type of a mechanoreceptor responsible for the sensitivity to pressure. So answer will be fourth. Next question is, which of the following is located in a deeper part of a skin and is sensitive to pressure? Meissner's corpuscles, Merkel disc, fascial corpuscles, Ruffini corpuscles. Answer will third, fascial corpuscles. Because here the Meissner's corpuscles are one of the three types of the cutaneous receptor which are sensitive to fine touch. Three types of the cutaneous receptor are sensitive to a pressure, which are namely fascial corpuscles, Ruffini, ending, and cranial and bulb. So this is the and bulbs. Out of this onion shaped fascial corpuscles lie deep inside the dermis. The Ruffini ending are present deeper in the epidermis near the base, while the cruciae and bulbs are present in specialized region. Only, for example, conjunctiva of eye, mucous membrane of our lips, and the tongue, etc. So answer will be third, fascial corpuscles. Okay, now next one question is about high vascular and closely inverting protective cord around the brain is known as what? Arachnoids, pyometer, durameter, subarachnoid space. Answer will durameter. If I more talk about durameter, so the meninges are the layer that are closely present around the brain, and the durameter is an outermost tough and fibrous layer. It closely lines the cranium. It is followed by the arachnoid matter that forms the middle meninges. The pyometer is the innermost meninges which adheres closely to the surface of the brain. It is highly vascular due to the rich supply of the blood vessels, so it provides oxygen, nutrients to the cells of the brain. Answer will third, durameter. Now, next question, very good question. The ability to hear of decrease with age because why? What? So the option first, cilia degenerate, the hair cell stiffen, the flexibility of the basilar membrane changes the tympanic canal straightness. Straightens, so answer will be the flexibility of the basilar membrane is the membrane is a change. So answer will third. Okay, if I more talk in the favor of this option, so as we get older, degenerate within the inner ear and along the nerve pathway to the brain can impact our hearing. Most of the time, these changes are released to the health of a tiny hair cells in the inner ears that help us hear. So answer will be third. Next is a helicoderma, connect scala vestibuli and scala tympani filled with the endolymph. Scala vestibuli, scala media filled with perilymph. Scala vestibuli, scala tympani filled with perilymph. Scala media and scala tympani filled with endolymph. Answer will third. Scala vestibuli and scala tympani is filled with perilymph is the correct option, because helicoderma is just a narrow slit at the apex of the cochlea, where the two canals of cochlear ducts, the scala vestibuli and second one is the scala tympani, communicate. It is the main component of the cochlear apex. It's fine. Now, the hair cells near this area best detect low frequency sound. So our answer we have choose third option. Next one question is about very interesting question. Which of the following part is in a ear is filled with endolymph? Scala vestibuli, scala tympani, median canal, helicoderma. Definitely answer will be third, median canal, because scala media is so filled with endolymph, while scala vestibuli and scala tympani are filled with perilymph. Scala media houses of the organ of the corti, which is the receptor organ of a hearing. Stapes, on the other hand, is a tiny bones present in the middle ear. So answer will be median canal. So, dear students, that was today's session. Very fantastic, very awesome, and very good session. And really, I am very happy to teach this topic with fantastic questions. And I hope you will also satisfy and happy with me. So, thank you for watching to me. Let's we meet tomorrow with new topic. Sorry, topic will same, but question will be different and part will be fifth. Until now, thank you. Bye bye.